Testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2. 1 2 1 2 3 4. Yeah, that's coming through now. 1 2 3 4. Testing mic 2, microphone 2.
1 2 3 1 2 3 4. 1 2. Which is that working? 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5.
Yep.
Yeah. Sound okay?
Yep. Sounds good. Yep.
Yep. I know I've been a bit quiet on the last one.
So I'll just go upstairs and we'll see if we can do a sound. Sound check.
Hello?
Craig's mic is kind of bit loud.
Yep.
A bit loud.
Go down a bit.
And I'm receiving a hiss. A really strong hiss from the
Oh, okay.
Interference.
yeah.
Just check that we're not crossing swords with our cables, maybe, or something like that.
It's always from the power.
Yeah. Maybe. Yep.
It's plugged to the power board. Yeah. May we change like straight to the power point and
Test again?
Yeah. Okay, 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4.
This is mic 2 1 2 3 4. Mattel, this is Craig. 1 2 3 4. Just testing.
And tell you, Steve, microphone 2 1 2 3 4. How's that, mate? Yeah, you're the man. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Melbourne Knights Stadium, Friday night football as the teams walk out for a mouth-watering contest in round 11 of the competition in NPL Victoria. It's Ben Suri's Melbourne Knights looking to get their season back on track after a disappointing performance last week at Paisley Park, while Chris Taylor's Oakleigh Cannons have had a busy week. A big win in the Australia Cup on Monday night against Westvale Olympic, coming hot on the heels of a nail-biting win against St Albans, 3-2 last Friday night. It's a pleasure to be bringing you this one on the NPL Victoria live streams, coming to you from Knight Stadium in North Sunshine. Steve Curtin on the call tonight, and it's a welcome return to the starting lineup in the commentary booth, at least, for my favourite and everyone else's favourite Welshman, a man who's had a very big week. Good evening, Craig Filer.
Good evening, Steve. Thanks for the warm welcome, and it's certainly a warm welcome because it's a very chilly night here in Summer Street, the back end of April. Only MPL game this evening, and it's a chilly evening, but one game I'm really looking forward to.
Absolutely right, Craig, and it's a pleasure to be here on this standalone Friday night fixture. As you said, we'll get to the teams. There's two changes for Ben Suri's Melbourne Knights, with Chris Oldfield continuing in goal. The back four sees Ivan Franic moving back to right back. In central defence, there's a return or a recall for Joey Franic, who'll play alongside Ben Carrigan. Corey Sewell lining up at left back. Anthony Duzell comes in to replace Steve White in central midfield alongside Jack Morton, with Tommy Semi playing on the left flank tonight, Gian Albano in the 10, Saif Saki down the right, and Kieran Bramwell will lead the line. And that means that Thomas Werndl drops to the bench, along with Steve White, who's out of the squad altogether tonight. For Chris Taylor's Cannons, Nick Feely resuming in goal. The back four, Emlyn Wellsmore, Brodie Boyce, Jacob Aliopoulos, and Kingsley Sinclair. That's an unchanged back four. The one change comes in midfield with a return for Cam McGill, with Noah Holmes dropping to the bench. Cam McGill will play alongside Oliver Kubalay. In front of them, Joe Guest. The front three, Munib Adus, Alex Salmon, and Asad Kasumovic are underway at Knight Stadium. Both teams in their home kits tonight. The Knights in their red, white, and blue from top to bottom. And it is the navy shirts and shorts for the Cannons of white socks. Nice contrasting uniforms out there as we get this one underway. We walked across the pitch beforehand, Craig. It's a little bit spongy underfoot, a few soft spots, but hopefully we'll see some good football on this deck tonight. Yeah,
particularly in the middle of the park, Steve. It is a bit spongy. Just inside there where the ball is now, it's a little bit wet. Obviously, we had a lot of rain on Tuesday evening, which would have dampened the pitch, but it's actually not bad. It's not bad. It's a bit bobbly, but there's plenty of grass on it.
Well, definitely has been plenty of time for that rain to dry up, with some sunny weather in the back end of this week, and it won't dampen our spirits, that's for sure. Michael Mammis is our man in the middle tonight, overseeing things. Melbourne Knights really needing a win tonight to get themselves back in the hunt for the finals, to try and snavel a spot for some September footballs. We saw them playing last year as well, and they're on the attack here. Coming down the far side, Saki's ball in. It's repelled by that Cannons defence and picked up by Jack Morton, who gets another chance in central midfield tonight, as we mentioned, alongside Anthony Duzell, who's back into the starting lineup. Here's Alex Salmon, the number 9, getting out wide. Kasumovic's ball in. He was the hero last week. He's Guest in a dangerous spot. He's going to try and tee up Cam McGill, who couldn't keep the instep. Driven shot down. It's high and handsome. First shot in anger of the evening, and it's into the gum trees at the northern end here of Knight Stadium. We'll get to those substitutes for you as well for the home side. On the bench tonight, Mitch Hoare, who was a late injury withdrawal last week. Also Felipe Sanchez, John Mabok, Jacob Wiseman, Thomas Werndl, and Tom Karlovic. And for the Cannons on the bench tonight, Connor Hampson, Pierce Waring, Hamish Miller, Noah Holmes, Luke Mensink, and Brendan White. That's a pretty deep bench there, particularly for Chris Taylor to go to if he needs to, Craig. Yeah,
I'll just before I answer that, I'll let you...
Semi giving chase, keeps this one in play. Couldn't find anyone in red. Albano, as we heard, he's playing in the number 10 role tonight, something different. He wears the number 10 on his back, and he's moved into a central role tonight. So we'll see what the West Aussie can manufacture. You think the Knights still trying to make up for that loss of a certain youngster who was instrumental in their side last year, playing in that number 10 role, who's made the move across to Melbourne Victory's NPL squad.
Yeah, he's a big miss, and it's a different system here, or certainly a different player system, as you said. Albano coming into the middle of the park. But look, it's a big game for Knights tonight, Steve. They're sat down there in, well, they say in 8th place at the moment on 11 points. And, you know, with all the teams around them or below them all playing each other tomorrow, it's very much a game that they need to try and get the 3 points to just give a little bit of space between them and the also-rans just below them.
If they can get the 3 points tonight, they would jump over their friendly rivals, Dandenong City, who sit a couple of points ahead of them in 7th. There's Joe Guest getting on the ball, looking to spray it out wide. He's got Munib Adus. He's always looking to ask questions of the defence, and it's going to be a good duel between him and the more experienced Ivan Franic, who played in a central defensive role last week and gets his chance to play in his customary right-back role tonight. So really looking forward to watching Adus and Franic going toe-to-toe. Michael Mamis is just halting play here to... We're going to get back underway again now. He's out of play as well. It's certainly a big footballing pitch to play on tonight here, Craig. But well, midweek we saw a more narrow pitch. But congratulations to you on a good performance for your team. Can I just say to compliment the broadcast tonight, a fantastic effort by Altona Reese Phoenix, really pushing Avondale all the way over 90 minutes.
Yeah, I'll just pause on that for a moment.
Good challenge by Sewell. Tommy Semi all the way back there helping out with the defensive effort, but it leaves them a little bit short of options further up the field now that they've won the ball back. Here's Albano picking up a good pocket of space, trying to place one out in front of Kieran Bramwell. Tracking back there was Aliopoulos, and that runs all the way through to Chris Oldfield, the experienced custodian. Here's, speaking of experienced players, Ivan Franic. This is Carrigan, who's something of a younger veteran. Ben Carrigan, still only 23 years of age, but feels like he's been around a little bit longer than that. But as I said, I must say congratulations to you guys. But you played on a much narrower pitch than we're seeing tonight at Knight Stadium the other night. Yeah,
we did. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, look, it was a fantastic performance from my team. You know, on the back of a really heavy defeat last Friday, where we got pumped 5-0 by Westville, and of course then you watch the game Avondale on the Saturday and see that they beat Dandenong Thunder 8-0, and yeah, there's all sorts going through my head. But look, the boys put in a fantastic performance, and you know, we had to think of ways of trying to nullify them as much as we can, bearing in mind we're playing probably the best team outside of the A-League. So we bought the pitch in 8 metres, which really confused Zoran Markowski when he turned up on Tuesday evening. But look, I think it played into our hands, and they found it a real struggle to play their football, and unfortunately we just couldn't get it over the line. Managed to take them 220 minutes, but just couldn't get them over the line with a goal in 107th minute or 111th minute, which really disappointed, but a fantastic performance.
Yeah, definitely a good performance by a group of good young players. A few experienced ones in there too, and just wonder if we might see more coaches speaking to the club volunteer responsible for marking the pitches in these cup competitions and doing that sort of thing again, because it seems like a clever idea to try and upset a higher ranked opposition. Here's Emlyn Wellsmore getting forward. It's a good ball through, fed for Alex Salmon, and he played against Carrigan. It's out of play for a corner, northern end of Summer Street here, Maribyrnong Riverside. It's going to be Joe Guest trotting over to take this one.
And of course, Oakleigh played on Monday night as well, didn't they? They played in the Australia Cup on Monday against Westvale.
Also against State League 2 Northwest opposition. As this ball comes in, and it's a good save in the end by Oldfield, and they've just about got it away here, the Knights. Well, a real close call there, and they've survived by the skin of their teeth. Oakleigh are going to keep coming again here, perhaps. Here's McGill. This is Sinclair lining up at left back again tonight. Kingsley Sinclair, and a deuce. Explosive pace from him again. And Ivan Franic, that duel between those two, it's already good to watch. Franic has put that one behind for a corner. We'll catch that replay of that opportunity.
Yeah, early signs there for Melbourne Knights. Need to be mindful. Free head there from, I think it was Alex Salmon in the 6-yard box. Good save.
It was a real point-blank save,
It was
wasn't
a great point.
Really
It was right at him. So, but look, Knights need to switch on and make sure they're focused when those balls come in.
And Bramwell's gone down here. He's just hobbling a bit. He's going to be okay to continue. Another corner kick, so succession of corners here for the Knights to defend. Everyone's back in their own penalty area except for Tommy Semi. This one comes into the penalty spot. It was a good header that time. Coming in from the number 6, Jacob Aliopoulos, the central defender. Good to see him back playing football after a run of bad luck with injuries. Knee injury a couple of years ago. It's a good defensive, central defensive combination between he and Brodie Boyce. This is Saki. Joey Franich all the way back to Oldfield, who's had a few moments so far where he's required to be at the peak of his concentration. Corey Sewell, who lined up at right back at Paisley Park in the loss to Altona Magic, back at his familiar left back role tonight. I wonder if we'll see him as we did last year, stepping in to become an extra central midfielder. That was a really good tactic last year under the tutelage of Ben Kahn, when the Knights really had one out of the box, going all the way, almost all the way to the grand final in 2023.
Both teams just trying to find their feet, get hold of the ball, work around. Just one chance so far.
And the foul they're given away by Duzel, going the way of Cam McGill, who was certainly a big loss for the Oakleigh Cannons last week. Noah Holmes stepping in, but Cam McGill, so much experience for him, even as another one who's probably in that young veteran category. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Here's the set piece opportunity for Guest. That's a good bit of purchase on that, and it required a really good defensive header from none other than the centre forward, Kieran Bramwell, who's he's had more touches in his own penalty area than he has in the Oakleigh Cannons one, that's for sure, so far tonight.
That's another great delivery, isn't it, from Joe Guest. He's got a weapon of a left peg, and we know what he can do with that ball. But good defending there from Kieran Bramwell.
Spot on there. What a left foot he has, an absolute wand, and any youngsters watching at home will be trying to replicate this in the park tomorrow when they're having a kick with their friends or playing in your junior football. Joe Guest is such a talented player at delivering centimetre perfect set pieces that are so hard to defend, with the purchase that he gets on the ball, the swerve, the movement through the air. Always favours the attacking team. The Knights trying to play it from the back here. Joey Franich, who is coming into the team for Tommy Werndl tonight, who, as we said, drops to the bench. Here's Saif Saki, dropping deep to get involved in the play. Saki, who we've seen him play as a 10 so far, he's lining up on the right-hand side of the attack tonight. And here's Semi, the chalk on his boots. He comes inside, and it's direct from Semi, but far too direct, and it's an easy pick-up for Nick Feely, who's happy to field those ones all day. Sinclair in space and time coming forward. This is Kubalay in the number 19, stepping over the halfway line. First time pass from Meduse, well read by Duzel. Now Ivan Franich assessing his options. Semi's drifted infield. That's a decent first touch from Tommy Semi. Oh, he just about got past McGill. Well, strong tackle from Duzel. And Michael Mama sounds his whistle, a free kick going the way of the Cannons. And Duzel, well, a little bit late, got the man there. And I think that's an easy decision for Michael Mamas, who's going to have a chat to Anthony Duzel and tell him to cool his jets here. And that challenge on Meduse was a little bit too physical.
Yeah, it was. It was. You went for the ball, but he did go in with his studs up. Of course, we can't do that, particularly after the incident last week involving Avondale's Tchaikovsky even. Obviously, we want to stamp that out of football as much as we can. So, look, it's nothing more than a free kick and a talking to from Michael Mamas.
Good to see Christian Tchaikovsky there on Tuesday night, supporting his teammates on crutches and in a moon boot. Really good commitment to the club. Here's Guest putting this ball in, and it's just about cleared by that Knights defence again. Headed by Kubalay. Albano went to try and retrieve the ball, but ended up on his backside. Here's McGill. Space and time for him. Sinclair's ball forward. And certainly the Cannons, they feel like they're in full control at the moment, Craig.
Yeah, keeping the ball, aren't they? Moving it around the pitch. Looking for those openings, just taking their time there in no rush.
Certainly the best chance of the game so far has fallen to the Cannons from the set piece, from corner kick from, here's a Deuce getting on the end of it. Might be able to pull the trigger here at Deuce, but the shot is fairly tame and easy for Chris Oldfield to get down and make what would be his second save of the evening so far. The first save, as we're about to mention, really good corner kick by Guest, header from pretty close range from Salmon, and a really good save from Oldfield to keep the scores at 0-0. So that was the closest we've come to a goal so far. A real reflex save. He only had probably about 1.5 meters distance to react to block the header, and he was able to position himself well to do so.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get the ball out to Adus as often as they can, obviously playing against the veteran Ivan Franic. He's not quite as nimble and as quick as he used to be. So maybe the pace of Adus is what they're looking for. Seem to be looking for him on every occasion they have the ball.
Well, the player I'm keen to see is the man who, well, he opened his account in NPL Victoria in some style last Friday night, who's playing on the other flank, which is Asad Kasumovic. He scored the equaliser and the winning goal against St Albans in a match that the Cannons would have thought they would probably pick up a pretty easy 3 points. It wasn't the case, and Kasumovic, who was about to be substituted, we're told, decided to turn on the flair and the style, opened his account, and then went on to score again and win. And here he is again, Kasumovic, full of confidence and trying his luck from distance. That one was blocked. Of course, it was moving over to the left-hand side of the park as well for him to be able to curl that winning goal in. That was absolute peach of a shot too. We might see Adus and Kasumovic swap flanks at some point, so keep an eye on that one as this one progresses. This first half, as the score is still locked at 0-0. Steve Curtin and Craig Filer with you. NPL Victoria round 11. Friday night football from Summer Street, and it's yet another set-piece opportunity for Joe Guest to deliver this one in towards the penalty spot area. And there's the opening goal. What a fine finish by Jacob Aliopoulos. A silver service from Joe Guest, but it's excellent from Aliopoulos, and it's 1-0 to the Cannons at Summer Street.
Yeah, look, just before you started talking, Steve, I was actually going to say that Melbourne Knights need to be very careful giving free kicks away in this position here, because we've already spoken about, you know, what sort of a delivery Joe Guest has had, but I have to say that is absolutely awful marking there from Melbourne Knights. Actually, nobody picking him up on the just outside the 6-yard box, and that would infuriate any coach. That there's just no markers and allowed to run for a free head, and it is 1-0 to Oakleigh Cannons.
Well, only 16 minutes on the clock when Aliopoulos put that one away, and well, he did do it with some ease, didn't he? As you mentioned, Craig, a bit like a training drill almost, and the player with Aliopoulos' stature, you can't afford to give him that kind of space and time in your own penalty area, or he'll just punish you time and time again, and that's what we've seen here.
Well, there's two things there, Steve, isn't there? There's the free kick in a really good position for Oakleigh Cannons, and then obviously the delivery and the marking, and you know, he was no marking, non-existent there, and yeah, they'll be really disappointed, because I've heard the coaching staff from Melbourne Knights shout out on a number of occasions to get tight, and clearly they don't listen.
It's the header by Sewell. Morton flicks it on and finds Semi. It's the live wire that could change the game, but he's looking a bit down on confidence at the moment for me, and he's a player who's not down on confidence, and it's Joe Guest pinging this ball over the top of Ivan Franic, who responded well, got a head to it, and then volleyed it out of play. But it's interesting to note Melbourne Knights had to come from behind twice against the Oakleigh Cannons in the league last year, both of their meetings, to get a share of the points. So could we see that again tonight? But at the moment, it's certainly been all Cannons so far with all these good set-piece opportunities. This is clever play by Salmon, just turning the body. There's a handball there. It's the decision. So a free kick for the Knights and a chance for them to try and get a bit further up the park. They can't get out of their own half at the moment, which has got to be a concern for Ben Suri.
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to get out, but Oakleigh, with their hard work and endeavour on closing the spaces down, making it very, very difficult for Knights. But just need to get the ball on the floor, get it passing, get it round, get into the two wide areas. And try and get the ball in behind the left back and the right back for me would be their options. Maybe that's why Semi and Safi have swapped, or Albano swapped positions today. Maybe that's that. They think there's an opportunity behind. So as we talk, it is Semi.
Well, here he goes, the PNG international, galloping down the left-hand side. He hasn't got a lot of options, though. Eventually, he does find Morton. All over the top towards Bramwell. It's well away by Brodie Boyce, but only as far as Semi. You have to say that in midfield, Steve White is such a big loss for the Knights, and you can see it out there. They've really had trouble controlling the centre of the park already. Also, Mitch Hoare, who's not 100% fit, but he's on the bench tonight. We might see him in the second half. He is certainly one of their creative architects. Getting forward is Corey Sewell. He's going to keep this ball in, low ball in, but he's offside. He's the left back, making a good run forward, but not timing it correctly. And the decision goes against the Knights, but a positive bit of play for the first time tonight for them, Craig.
Yeah, and in behind on the wings, which is what I was talking about just now. Maybe that's their option tonight, of getting it into those areas and then getting numbers into the box. But much better from Knights.
Assistant referees tonight, Will Samsa over on the far side. Told he's not far from opportunity to officiate at A-League level. Will Samsa, one of the best in the business. The Lino Brigade in NPL Victoria, and the youngster Mr. Zhang on the near side, controlling the touchline here. He's got his flag up there to indicate a throw for the Knights, to be taken by Corey Sewell. We've also got Uga Arslan as the fourth official tonight, assisting Michael Mammas out in the middle. Here's Jack Morton. Joey Franich on the ball. His brother Ivan has pushed high up the touchline on that right-hand side, but the ball's going to come back over this left-hand side to Carrigan. Good defensive shape from the Cannons, not showing too many passing lanes there for the Knights, and eventually they just turn the ball over straight through to Nick Feely. You can hear the frustration out there with a few raised voices, Craig.
Yeah, and you can understand why they're getting far too much time on the ball. They're not pressurising the Oakleigh Cannons when they do have the ball, and it's allowing them to dictate the play.
Here's Albano looking to play the 1-2, perhaps getting on the end of this pass just about from Semi, but again it's well read by Boyce. Now McGill might just about win the foul, or he was drawing the contact himself, so good refereeing by Michael Mammas there. Waving play on. This is more positive from the Knights. Duzel, Albano on the half turn. He's got Sewell there. Sewell making good position again. I feel like Corey Sewell, the left back, really is a key to their creative outlets, getting forward down that left-hand side, creating that overlap. And we've seen how good a crosser of a footballer he is as well last season. He had an exceptional season last year, and it was unfortunate that he missed out on a few games through injury, because he was a real key to their tactical output last season.
Yeah, we talked about Joe Gaston having a great left foot. He also has a great left foot, and of course Steve White, who you spoke about earlier, also has a fantastic left foot and can dictate play in the middle of the park. But better from Knights now. They're starting to get into the game, starting to be in, get a little bit more time on the ball, moving it around.
Kubelay's hand preventing the ball going through there, and a free kick to the Knights. For the first time they'll be able to show what they've been working on the training ground in the set piece practices this week. It's going to be Anthony Duzel to deliver this one, and we're going to see Ben Carrigan. He's going to be one of the players stepping forward as they congregate the back post area. Nick Feely commanding the charges. It's all about the quality from Duzel here. Can he get a Joe Guest-esque delivery? But it's well fielded by Feely, and he's quickly rolling this one out to a Deuce, who's full of running once again. It's not the first time we've witnessed that tonight. Comes inside looking for Salmon, who goes to ground on a bit of soft turf out there, and maybe the long stops are required tonight. Oldfield's pass, that was a little bit hairy there. Franich's header away, that was Joey. Oakleigh, waves of attack here. McGilp's little dink over the top. It's away by Franich. Headed on by Bramwell, but he was the furthest forward player, and there was no one ahead of him to receive that flick on, so it's easy pickings for the Oakleigh Cannons back four. It's an unchanged back four from their side that did concede 2 goals last Friday night against the St Albans side, but they look very comfortable in possession, and they look very comfortable out there so far on the balance of general players. Here's Aliopoulos, who's already got a goal to his name tonight. That pass is off target, though.
Yeah, Knights are sitting a little bit too deep for my liking. Obviously, we're not sure what the coaching staff want them to do, but you know, it's allowing Oakleigh Cannons to step into the Knights half and have a lot of control on the ball. And maybe if they just squeezed at 5 or 10 metres and put a little bit of pressure higher up the pitch, it might help a little bit.
And in the end, probably as well, Craig, watching the videotape of their loss to the Altona Magic, that goal by Darcy Anastosky, which was the only goal of the game last week at Paisley Park last Saturday evening. It probably was also a case of exactly what you say, just sitting off a couple of metres too far and giving too much space for a player of the quality of Anastosky, who's a player who's shown he's a pretty handy attacker this season, and he took full advantage of that one. The Knights were unable to find a reply in the remaining 15 minutes of that game last week, so at the moment it's all Oakleigh Cannons. Here's a deuce, looking to get around Ivan Franic. It's the cross into the back post. Kasumovic is there. It's evaded him. Might be able to keep it in play. He's got Wellsmore in support. He's gone with a more aggressive option with the pass, and it's McGilp's ball into the back post. The deuce is there. Franic flew highest, and he concedes another corner kick going the way of the Cannons. Another dangerous Joe Guest set piece incoming.
Yeah, and that started really the pressure again there from Tommy Semi, having the ball deep in his half and just kicking the ball aimlessly across the pitch, straight to an Oakleigh Cannons player, which again I struggle to understand why you would do that. But look, they've got away with it, but they are under enormous pressure tonight in this opening 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, definitely. You can almost feel the pressure that they're under from our commentary position here. But that ball that went out of play, crossing the touchline, must have come off Cannon's shin on the way out. So, fortunately for the Knights, they'll be able to take the throw and try and get themselves a bit further up the field here. So here's Ivan Franic. He's found Morton in the centre of the park. And again, they've lost possession here, right in front of Chris Taylor's technical area. Bunch of substitutes there, all sat down for the Cannons, and as we mentioned, it's a handy bunch of players: Hampson, Waring, Miller, Holmes, Mensick and White sitting there, so plenty of options for Chris Taylor, who's a manager who's not known for making too many changes, but he did shuffle the pack a little bit last week. But it was a funny story with Kasumovic about to be subbed last week. Ended up, not sure if he was aware of it, if he saw his number had been about to be put up, but he certainly changed that decision pretty quickly and stayed out there and scored 2 goals and turned the game around off his own boot.
Yeah, you're right. Chris Taylor doesn't like. He likes a settled squad, doesn't he? Doesn't like swapping and changing too much, which is all very well if you can do that.
Morton's ball forward. He was looking to play it out wide to Saki. Here's Albano receiving from Bramwell, who's been dropping deep to pick up the ball. Now Tommy Semi in a dangerous position. Bramwell is onside here, plays it in. Oh, it's again repelled by Sinclair, the left back, tucking inside to do a sterling defensive job there. This is better from the Knights. Joey Franic got an important boot in there as Alex Salmon was bearing down that loose ball.
Yeah, again, got behind this left back on this left-hand side of the pitch rather, and got that ball into the box again. It certainly seemed this is the area that they're certainly targeting, or they're getting more joy from. So I'd imagine there'll be more as the game goes on.
It's a good point you make, Craig, as well, because you look at Emlyn Wellsmore playing as the right back there for the Cannons. If you can pin him back, it's not a bad strategy as well, because he's so dangerous going forward as well. Speaking of going forward dangerously, it's Kasumovic. Couldn't find a player at the top of the box. Joe Guest was lurking on the penalty spot. As I mentioned, we've seen Emlyn Wellsmore getting on the score sheet this season, and if they can pin him back, it will at least give the Knights a little bit better balance in general play, as Wellsmore's going to trot after this one and see it cross the touchline. But also, if Wellsmore is getting forward, it could be an opportunity to get in behind in that position, as you mentioned as well. Will be that man, Edlin Wellsmore, to take the throw here. The hush falls over Knight Stadium. 1-0. If you have just joined us, Aliopolis is the scorer. The Knights on the attack here. Albano. Oh, that's not the finish he was looking for. Oh, well out of play, and it lands on the roof of the merchandise tent over there, which is well stocked with excellent merch, but that's not where Albano was wanting to go.
No, he certainly wasn't, but it's interesting listening to the players then as I took a little break from commentary there, and Corey Sewell just saying that we need to stop playing football in our final third and start putting the balls a little behind and forcing Oakleigh Cannons back, which is where they're getting their joy. It's all very well playing nice football in the middle of the park, but if you're being pressed and being harried all the time and you're not getting time to get down the ball down and play the football you want, and sometimes you need to change things and swap things around, and they've had joy when they put the ball in behind. So
this is good play from Saeed Saki. He's going to win the corner kick, is he here? He is indeed. So positive play by Saki. So an opportunity for Saeed Saki to deliver this corner kick. It'd be the in-swinger on the left peg from the Frenchman. Plenty of Knights in the 6-yard box. Sewell's going to be the target at the back post. He heads it back across the goal. The Deuce is there to knock it away. Sewell's going to try his luck from distance. A good save by Feely. Franich on the follow-up. Oh, he's fallen, slipping on the turf. Slippery deck out there. Claims another victim as Ivan Franich lost his footing at a critical time. But good bit of play from Corey Sewell just to take on the attempt there, and it forced a save out of Feely that, well, Feely might have seen that one pretty late as well, I fancy.
Yeah, I think he did, but it was a good save, pushed it away from goals. Unfortunately for Ivan Franich, he just slipped at that last moment, and that's a great strike from Corey Sewell there. Keeper didn't know a lot about it.
Yeah, good technique indeed by the left back. Does have one goal this season. He was on the score sheet a few times last season as well. He's going to take this throw in here. Corey Sewell looking for options in front of him. Albano's available. Definitely the Knights have grown in confidence in the last 5 minutes. This is good to see from the point of view of the Knights fans tuning in on the live stream tonight, NPL Victoria live stream. You hope you're enjoying it wherever you're tuning in from. Steve Curtin alongside Craig Filer tonight on the call. NPL Victoria, round 11 of the competition. Melbourne Knights coming into this one in 8th place on the table. Plenty of work to do for them. Cannons currently in 5th place. It's just as important for them too, trying to hang on to that final spot as the Knights come forward. Semi's nearly going to get on the end of this ball from Saki.
Yeah, some good football there from Knights, started from a throw in this near touchline and worked around the pitch and again into those wide areas, and probably that's why Safi's on that touchline today, to give them a little bit of pace and a little bit of trickery. He's certainly doing so.
Gives you that option as well that he can come inside onto his left foot and maybe pull the trigger if he's given enough space. But so far the Cannons, and particularly that double pivot of McGill and also Kublai, have been able to prevent that from happening, and they've given away a foul here. It's going to be a free kick to the Cannons just inside their own half. A little bit too far out for Joe Guest to float this one into the box from here.
You never know.
Never know.
You never know.
Joe Guest, surprise, surprise, already has 1 assist from the set piece tonight, setting up Jacob Aliopolis for the only goal of the game. Here's a Deuce receiving from Salmon, looking to get to the byline. The dancing feet of a Deuce. Salmon is out wide here on the touchline. Now Guest. Good pressure from the Knights, forcing them back. Gibbs ball in. Oh, it's ricocheted, and Joe Guest thinks there's been a handball there, I fancy. Michael Mamis is happy to give the corner kick. And still the protests go on. Catch that one in our replay here, Craig, and see if there was something that we missed.
Yeah, well, just waiting for that to come on our replay. But Joe Guest was pretty adamant that there was a handball there. a bit inconclusive from our pictures there, but it certainly hit him high. But Michael Mammas was in a really good position to see that.
Salmon's header goes up onto the scoria of the terracing at the northern end of Knight Stadium. Unable to keep that one down, but yeah, it may have been an outstretched arm from Joey Franich, albeit accidental. Perhaps Michael Mammas was blindsided by that one. Not clear cut from our position here either. And here is that man, Joey Franich, on the ball. All the way back to the veteran keeper, Oldfield. Sent long by Franich. Headed by Sinclair, and now a deuce. Had 2 bites of the cherry. Did Manu Badus. Carrigan now. It's a crafty pass underneath Kasumovic to Sewell, who's tucked inside. Semi's available out wide on the left, but they're going to go out to the right-hand side. Ivan Franich and Duzel. Good combinations from the Knights, but they're forced back though. It's a good ball inside. Finds Morton.
So again, Steve, they've probably had 15 or 20 passes and they haven't gone anywhere. So, you know, Oakleigh Cannons are doing a great job at stopping the forward pass, but you know they're playing some football in the wrong areas for me. Knights, they need to get further up the park and get Corey Sewell forward and Tommy Semi a little bit higher.
Let's see what they can offer here. They, as you mentioned, they've been attacking probably predominantly down their right-hand side so far, the side that Saif Saki is lining up on, with Ivan Franich pushing up high as a right back. Saki, they've lost it again here. Good pressure from McGilp. Good pressing from the Cannons. Forces the Knights to go all the way back. And here we go again through Duzel. Bit of space here for Saki, who stepped into the central corridor. Try and get things going, and they managed to get the ball going forward. Ball over the top. Appeals for offside against Tommy Semi, but it doesn't matter because it ran harmlessly through to Nick Feely, who was well out of his goal to claim that one as Wellsmore steps forward. Kubalay. Duzel is able to face forward. Saki. Oh, it's not a good touch from Saki. Sinclair. The New Zealander plays it forward for Munir Badus. Turn on the afterburners here. Oh, he's going to try and fire this one in. Salmon's there. Kasumovic at the back post, making a dangerous run, and it's a good bit of defending by Corey Sewell to keep him out, because if it weren't for Corey Sewell, that would have been a tap-in for Kasumovic to get his 3rd goal in their last week of football.
Yeah, all stemmed there, didn't it? From a poor touch from Safi. Ball played into a deuce, and Oakleigh Cannons got numbers forward, 4-3 in the box, and a good delivery in. Just need to be careful, overplaying in the wrong areas, keep the concentration levels.
Salmon was the target again. Oh, he's frustrated he couldn't make contact with this one. Manu Badus keeps it in. Here's Oliver Kubalay. 1-2 and 3-4 with McGilp, who fires over the bar. Good opening for Cam McGilp. Couldn't keep his shot down. What a good combination. The double pivot there, the 2 defensive midfielders playing the 1-2 and the 3-4 on the edge of the box, opening up for McGilp. Firing on goal, but too high. Cameron McGilp yet to open his account in NPL Victoria this season.
You want with strikes like that, Steve? Some good football again there from Oakleigh.
So inside 10 minutes, still half time, and can the Knights keep the score? Keep the deficit at 1. Just a solitary goal, because the Cannons are looking for that 2nd goal before the break, and that would be a bit of a soul-destroying moment if that was to happen for the Knights. Here's a deuce. Here's Guest. This is Sinclair. Plays in a tasty-looking ball, but it's straight onto the chest of Chris Oldfield. He's going to get the ball going here quickly to Corey Sewell. Duzel. Ball over the top looking for Bramwell, who's not had a lot of involvement, and he's gone to ground there, but play goes on. Semi picking up the loose ball. Good play by Tommy Semi. Duzal. Albano's floated out to the left-hand side now. Playing as the number 10 tonight in a different role. Bramwell still down, hands on knees. He's hobbling forward now, but Kublai picks up the loose ball. And the Cannons, every time they get the ball, they're looking to go forward so quickly. Here's Salmon on the half turn, looking to receive it and play in the wingers. This time he goes and left-hand side to Adus. Kublai, now Guest. Adus getting forward. Good positioning by Ben Carrigan to clear that one away.
That's a really good comment you made there, Steve, about Oakleigh Cannons winning the ball and looking to go forward. They're looking to do that every time they got the ball, whereas Melbourne Knights look get the ball and then they slow it down. They make a sideways pass or a backwards pass, and by that time, Oakleigh Cannons are back into their formation and smother everything. So just need to move the ball a little bit quicker.
Well, it's another patient approach here from the Knights.
And that's their way, of course. You can't. That's a style of football that's been adopted here for the last few seasons. So
this is Saki switching the play, looking for Semi. Well brought down by Tommy Semi. He's going to be forced to play inboard. Duzal, not the right pass from Duzal, and it's going to run all the way through to Brodie Boyce. Pressure from Sewell, the left back pressing high up the park. Oh, well played, Wellsmore. Oh, he's given it away though. Duzal, maybe a chance here for the Knights. Morton, he's got Saki out wide on the right, running at Kingsley Sinclair. Saki gets onto that left peg, floats it into the back post. Corey Sewell nodded down. Oh, he couldn't find Albano or Semi. And the Cannons are going to break quickly again here. And again, McGill doesn't win the free kick, so Duzal's going to spray this one out wide. Well read by Sinclair again. Playing really well at left back. Player who is more comfortable playing as a winger, traditionally, the New Zealander, but he's doing really well as a left back, given the lack of options, I suppose, in that position for Chris Taylor. And he's fulfilling that role very well at the moment.
Yeah, doing a good job, the young man.
23 years of age, the New Zealander. Good experience in over in the land of the long white cloud with Eastern Suburbs, Oakland United, and the Phoenix youth system. Forward by McGill. Headed by Joey Franich. Finds his brother. And Duzal. This is good combinations by the Knights. Might have been a foul on Albano. Might be advantage played here. Semi. Oh, his first touch was not to his advantage. McGill. Good composure by the young man. Played forward. This is Guest. With another magnetic first touch, and here's Kasumovic. Charging forward. Will he consider pulling the trigger himself? Looking to get back onto that right foot. Goes onto his left. Kasumovic warms the palms of Chris Oldfield. It's going to fall for Guest. Red alert again for the Knights here. Good block by Duzal. They're just about hanging on to this 1-0 deficit. They don't, as we said, they don't want to have that doubled up before half time. But Emlyn Wellsmore is getting into the box. It's a harmless cross straight to Duzal. Morton. And the Knights just trying to get out of their own defensive third here. Bramwell. Albano. That's a good ball from Albano. Bramwell, he's lost out here, but he might get the free kick going his way. Michael Mammis is having a bit of a chat to the West Aussie.
Yeah, just took his time there, the referee, just to make sure it was the right decision. It was definitely the right decision, but again, you know, poor control from Tommy Semi in this final third for Melbourne Knights, and turned over, and then a quick break from Oakleigh Cannons is causing them all sorts of problems at the moment.
Well, we hope there's not an injury concern here for Cam McGill, who, as we said, missed out last Friday night. He's retying the shoelaces. He's going to be okay to continue at least until half time, I fancy, and hopefully return for the second half as well. Noah Holmes is the option on the bench if he was to come off. In the shadows of half-time here at Knight Stadium. Friday night football. NPL Victoria men's action. Round 11 of the competition. the 8th place Knights against the 5th place Cannons. Saki goes to ground. It's a good challenge by Kubalay. Joe Guess was galloping in the left-hand side. McGilp. Still he goes. Salmon dropping deep to pick up the ball here. Good change of direction. Looks like he could play as a 10 as well. Alex Salmon throwing the step overs at the Knights defence, and the shot, well, it's the 7th shot that the Cannons have fired at Chris Oldfield so far, who's had a busy first half. And that scoreline is only 1-0. Potentially could be a bit more than that.
Yeah, it could very well be, but it's not. And as the longer the Knights are in this game at 1-0, as we say, they're still in the game. So a second goal would be a problem for them. But look, they're getting into some really good positions, Oakleigh Cannons, but just not able to find the back of that net. Pretty simple saves for the veteran Chris Oldfield. Again, they just need to be careful. Just keep the ball. Don't lose the ball. Move the ball around. Again, they've lost over, and again, the transition is forward quickly from Joe Guest. And
what a ball from Guest as well to pick out Salmon, who's out wide on the right-hand side. Guest is going to make his way into the penalty area. Oh, that might be a shout for a spot kick there. Kasumovic was fouled. Play on is the call from Michael Mamas.
Spot on call that from Michael Mamas. I think McGill was looking for that one. Left his trail, left his leg in there, and defender turned him. Good decision.
Here's a deuce, low ball in, easily dealt with by Joey Frunage. And that will be a foul this time. Saeed Saki brought down. It's a tricky player, low centre of gravity, the Frenchman. And we're going to have just the 1 minute added on at the end of this first 45. Uga Arslan, the 4th official over on the far side in the tracksuit tonight. Cold conditions here. And more sunshine tonight. Semi's first touch. He's giving it away to Boyce. Kubalay. Just reaching inside our commentator's equipment kit here, looking at the digital thermometer tonight. 14 degrees. In North Sunshine, so not too bad conditions, but it certainly did feel cool when we opened the window of the commentary position here as the Knights are charging forward, but the pass from Saki was easily intercepted, and as we've seen with the Cannons, they look to come forward so quickly once they win the ball back. McGill's ball out wide to Kasumovic. Wellsmore in space, the Knights defence retreating. Here's Guest. Kasumovic floating it in. It's away by Franich. Flicked on by Bramwell, but straight to McGilp. So the waves of attack are going to continue here until the half-time whistle, you fancy. And that will be half-time, in fact. Michael Mamas brings it into the first stanza at Knights Stadium. And it's been largely one-way traffic to the right of screen, to the northern end of the venue here. Oakleigh Cannons getting the game going. Jacob Aliopoulos, his goal is the difference between the two sides. And what a set piece it was from Joe Guest. Delivered from the right-hand side, the left-footed free kick, curled it into the penalty area, and virtually unopposed, as you mentioned, Craig, Aliopoulos not at home. That is the difference between the two sides at half-time, where it is the Knights at 0, Cannons 1. Well, we'll be back after this short break. We look forward to your company for the second 45. Can the Knights turn this around, or will it be a Navy Brew procession in the second half? We look forward to your company after this short break. Both Craig Filer and myself, Steve Curtin, at the second 45 from Knights Stadium. We're at the scoreline at half-time. Knights 0, Cannons 1. Yes, welcome back to Knights Stadium. The halftime score, it's a solitary goal advantage to the visitors, the Oakleigh Cannons, against the home side, the Melbourne Knights, in this matchup. Last year in the league, it was two appearances, or two matchups where they were both ending the spoils shared. And then there was also a cup match as well, which we saw the Cannons come here and, well, put the Knights to the sword a little bit with goals from Salmon, Sinclair and Clark, and the solitary goal from Steve White in that Doherty Cup match last July. But it's no Steve White here tonight. Is a big loss for the Knights as they try and come back from this 1-0 deficit. They're going to get underway here with Kieran Bramwell kicking us off for the second 45. Steve Curtin with you, and welcome back to the broadcast position for the second 45 to, as we said, our favourite Welshman here on the NPL Victoria commentary panel, at least, Craig Filer.
Yeah, not everybody's favourite Welshman, Steve. So, no, thank you. It'd be a big team talk here for the Melbourne Knights coaching staff, how they get on the ball and how they start putting this Oakleigh Cannons defence under a little bit of pressure. Had it relatively easy in that first period, 13 shots to Knights 2 tells you the domination. I'll just hold off there, Steve.
Well, here comes Alex Salmon. He's in behind the Knights defence and he's put it past Oldfield, but he's put it past the post as well. A really good opportunity for Alex Salmon that we would see him bury 9 times out of 10. But the Cannons number 9, his shot has been skewed past the post. Really good opportunity for Alex Salmon to grab yet another goal this season. He scored a hat-trick in that cup game on Monday night, but he doesn't add to that tally tonight.
Yeah, straight from the kickoff, Joe Guest putting pressure on the ball player, turning it over, and they break. So it's almost a carbon copy of the first half. Knights just need to be very mindful of their touch, getting that ball under control as quick as they can, because the Oakleigh Cannons midfield will be on them as quick as they know it.
Here's Aliopoulos with the Rainmaker. It's going to hang in the air. You can stand under it. It's Gilp. Ivan Franic with the header, only as far as Kubalay. The Franic brothers combining, looking for options further upfield. Joey's going to hoist this one over the top. Aliopoulos missed his header, but backup was coming from Boyce. Now to play, and it's going to be throw to the Knights. Assistant referee on this near side, Mr. Zane, giving the throw to the home side. Here's Joey Franic looking again for options further upfield. Duzel, the central midfielder, dropping deep. Duzel and Morton, the double pivot tonight for the Knights, with Albano playing as the 10 in front of them. Save Saki lining up on the right-hand side, and Tommy Sammy on the left. Bramwell through the middle. It's attacking front four that hasn't really hit top gear so far tonight, but here's Corey Sewell trying to get Tommy Semi involved again here. Good defending. Again, though, Wellsmore coming away with the ball. Finds Kasumovic. Good pressure from Albano, who picked his pocket and comes striding forward with the ball. This is Bramwell. Now Semi, who's sitting deep again here. He's going to go all the way back into his own half. He's going to play forward. Duzel. Everyone behind the ball for the Cannons. Good defensive shape, and they're compact and they're hard to play through. Not much space between those lines, Craig.
Yeah, it's very tight in there on a.
Oh, good aerial prowess from Feely there.
Yeah, good on a big pitch. They're making it very, very tight in the middle of the park.
Feely getting involved for the second time in the space of 10 seconds, and that one was a little bit more comfortable than the header that he had to come out and produce outside of the penalty area. Long ball aimed for Salmon, who's using his body and just backing into Joey Franic, allowing it to bounce, and then bringing Kubalay into the game, who finds McGilp. And now Guest is motoring forward down this left-hand side. He's got a Deuce riding shotgun, but he can play it to the back post area. It's over the top of Salmon, and the volley is well saved. Kasumovic, well, we saw his qualities, as we said last week. 2 goals against the St Albans side, and he nearly found a third of the season there. If it wasn't for the strong wrists of Chris Oldfield to beat that one away. That volley had some power about it, Craig.
Yeah, it certainly did. It was another good break and a fantastic save from Chris Oldfield there.
Chris Oldfield is having a busy night in the goal at the southern end, the Batcave end of the venue here at Knight Stadium. His Guest. 1-0 still the scoreline. Jacob Aliopoulos' goal. And the set piece opportunity from Joe Guest swung into the box handsomely and put away with aplomb. As we mentioned in that cup game on Monday night, Westvale Olympic against the Oakleigh Cannons, there was that hat-trick for Alex Salmon, but Adeuce also managed to grab a couple of goals for himself, and Adeuce was applying the press there to Joey Franich, who had to hoist that one further upfield. This is Morton. It bounced a little bit awkwardly, but his control was excellent, and he gets the ball going forward. Switch of play by Duzel. It's asking a bit of Saki, but he's going to be able to keep this one in. Running at his opponent, which is Kingsley Sinclair, getting to the byline, but just running out of room. I'm not sure what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, look, he tried to obviously take the defender on and get the ball in, but just weight of his own pass. But look, one thing I've noticed there, once that ball was cleared from Melbourne Knights, there was a massive gap between their back four, or back three as it is, because Ivan Franic had pushed on, and the forward players, and I think that's part of the problem for Knights. The gaps between each phase is really big. Whereas, as you said just now in your commentary, Steve, Oakleigh Cannons are very compact through each set of positions. So they can just squeeze up another 5 or 10 meters and trust themselves at the back. It might cause a few problems.
Well, here's Adeuce, the man who scored a double on Monday night against Westvale. Low ball in, blocked away by Joey Franich. It falls well for Saki to pick up the loose ball. Albano looking for options. Semi's out wide on the left. Emlyn Wellsmore keeping a close eye on him. Duzel looks for Semi, but then succeeds in turning over possession, and Wellsmore's going to gallop forward here. That Cannon's right back. Kubalay. Now Guest driving forward. Good voice, good calling from Chris Oldfield, coming out and claiming that one, letting his defenders know that he was coming to pick up that ball. It's one thing the Knights have got on their side is plenty of experience from the likes of Ivan Franic and Chris Oldfield in particular out there. Here's Jack Morton, the central midfielder, dropping into a right back position temporarily. They've turned it over here, but Morton's able to make the recovering tackle. Oldfield, well, he might have had more time than that perhaps, but he's been able to find Saeed Saki. Deuce, who's looks like an Olympic sprinter. In by Sinclair. Oldfield gave the call. Oh, he's cleaned up his opponent there, I think, too. Alex Salmon coming in bravely. He's back up on his feet, though. That's good to see. Here's Duzel. Pass by Franich. Albano finds Ivan Franic, who's pushed forward. Saki out on the right-hand side here. Guest really applying the pressure on Duzel, and a little bit too much pressure there. Knocked over the Knights midfielder, and free kick going the way of the home side.
But it's pressure, Steve, right? They're putting pressure on the man with the ball, and that's the problem every time they do.
Well, Franich is getting in behind here.
It's a great save.
And what a good save by Feely indeed. As you say, Craig, Franich making a really intelligent run, getting on the end of that pass. We talked about the experienced heads in the Knights camp, and we nearly saw one of them getting on the score sheet there. Ivan Franic. Shot from a tight angle. It was the intelligent through pass from Saki that gave Ivan Franic the opportunity. Feely was there to ensure that the scoreline remains that solitary goal advantage. to the visitors, the Oakleigh Cannons. This is a good play by Albano, firing it out wide. Wellsmore's favoured to get there. Big shove from Semi, and I fancy that'll be a free kick. And are the home fans happy with that? I fancy that they're not.
No, I think it was a free kick. I think it was the shoulder barge, and yeah, certainly used his considerable frame there, Tommy Semi.
Got a full head of steam up there, coming through like a freight train, and I think Wellsmore felt that one a little bit too. He's just using a bit of professionalism here, Emlyn Wellsmore, to take his time and get back up on his feet.
Looks like Knights are going to prepare in a substitution here, Steve. Looks like Mitch Hall from our position here. Looks like he's ready to come on.
Yeah, good move. I think getting Mitch Hall out there is the kind of player who can find that spark of magic to change a game. We were talking earlier, like the loss of Luka Kolic is been felt so significantly this season for the Knights. But Mitch Hall is certainly the one who can sort of deputise and play that role in the team that can find that little spark to create that goal-scoring opportunity.
But also Steve White in the middle of the park as well. Steve, he does boss the game in there. He does get to look to play those passes. He's very elegant on the ball. That's another big miss for Knights as well.
A huge loss indeed. So we'll see that change take place now. And it's going to be the end of the evening for Anthony Duzel, a player who came on as a substitute last week at Paisley Park. Gets an early mark, and positive response from the fans gathered in the Mark Viduka stands as he takes a seat after he completes 56 minutes of the action tonight. Straight into it here is Mitchell getting involved, and Bramwell is galloping forward, showing a real clean pair of heels to Aliopoulos. Aliopoulos was recovering to make the block as Bramwell was trying to play the ball into the middle to Mitch Hall, who'd continued his run into the box. That's what the Knights are going to need to do, I fancy. You've seen the Cannons time and time again tonight, getting those extra bodies into the box from that midfield three. And is that something that Craig, as a coach with that compact nature of the Cannons, play that when they do win the ball back, they're better poised to make those breaks into the box from midfield?
Absolutely, Steve. Because the gaps are smaller, right? So there's not so much running for the players to do, and the gaps are smaller, and they can get forward far more quickly and more frequently. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, here's Semi receiving from Sucky. He's going to try his luck from distance. And that won't trouble the scoreboard attendant, or Nick Feely for that matter, who lets that one run harmlessly past the far post and a play for a goal kick. So that first change of the evening for either side that we've seen take place. Anthony Duzel off for Mitch Hoare, and looks like Hoare's lining up pretty much in the same function as what we saw Duzel. He'll probably try and look to play a little bit higher up the park, I fancy, than where Duzel was finding his average position during the periods of open play. Really taking his time over the restart. Good purchase on that one, and Salmon gets there first. Ball breaks well for Albano, and he's got Semi in a good position here. Tommy Semi, but he's messed up his timing of the run. Flag going up from the assistant referee on the near side here, Mr. Zhang. Fans not happy with that decision. Tommy Semi in his first season here at Summer Street, coming across from fellow Western Suburb club Altona Magic. It seems like he's become a fan favourite here. When the decisions go against him, the home fans, they don't like it.
Yeah, look, he's a funny player, isn't he, Tommy? If he's on, he's on. If he's not, it's tough. But yeah, he's got so much pace, and sometimes he just needs to, I've said it in commentary a number of times, just slow it down a little bit, and maybe everything hasn't got to be, as you said earlier on in your commentary, a freight train. You don't have to be a freight train all the time. Have a little bit of finesse now and again, but when he's on, as I said, he's on.
And here he is here playing in Bramwell. Oh, it's another good save from Feely. Really good ball from Tommy Semi, showing his magic there. Well, that was the limited express rather than the freight train, perhaps, Craig, and good poison finesse to pick out Bramwell. Firing on the left peg and sticking the one mid-up was Nick Feely. He's clinging on to that clean sheet at the moment, Nick Feely. Here's Semi again, the 1-2. Knights players growing in confidence. Carrigan colliding with his opponent, which was Kubalay. Both players back up on their feet. Someone's turned on the disco beats on the far side, but hopefully that will be faded out soon as we continue on here. Kubalay, bit of space for him to gallop into and run at that Knights back four. Guest is making the diagonal run, and Kubalay was, well, that was his turn to make that same error that we've just accused Tommy Semi of making a few times, I reckon.
Absolutely. But again, they had lots of forward runners. Great run there from Joe Guest. Coming in from behind Kubalay there. Came to nothing. Better from Knights. I like they're putting a bit more pressure now, a little bit higher up the park, and that's putting a little bit more pressure on Oakleigh Cannons. Just need that little bit of finesse now in that final third for something to come right.
And the injection of Mitch Hoare seems to have made an instant difference as well. You fancy the player who's got a couple of goals to his name this season in the league. Bagged 3 last year in a season where he was in and out of the team with some injury layoffs. Certainly good value when he's out there. Buzzing around that central area, the fresh pair of legs in the middle of the park. Trying to pick up those little pockets of spaces in between Kubalay and McGilp. Good header by Sinclair. Picks up the second ball himself.
Just that little quicker, aren't they, to that second ball. Oakleigh Cannons, the pressure to go and win that second ball is evident here tonight.
Important challenge there by Joey Franich. Pacey Mooney Badus was ready to charge down that touchline. There's no MCF congregated in front of us tonight, which we often see the bar open below our broadcast position, and I'm sure that they would be having a bit to say when the ball's over on this side of the park if they were here tonight to try and upset the Cannons players and cheer on the boys in red.
It doesn't seem the same, does it?
It seems a little bit more lackluster than what we're used to here. Badus's header. Combination with Salmon. Carrigan. This is Albano. He's able to face forward. Pressure from Kubalay, but he finds Semi. Oh, he showed the body feint there to Wellsmore, and Bramwell's just about on the end of that one. It just wouldn't sit kindly for him. And Tommy Semi, he's really found his form in the last couple of moments when he's been on the ball, taking his opportunities to try and create goals for opponents. Bramwell not far away from getting on the end of that cross. He's Saki playing the ball in. Feely's just about going to get there. Semi was lurking if it was to be spilled. Good pair of hands from Nick Feely.
Yeah, fantastic ball in there from Tommy Semi. Got the ball, put the afterburners on, and a fantastic left-footed ball into the box. And fortunately for Knights, just couldn't get on the end of it, but much better. Much better.
Definitely. Wellsmore's been great tonight, but he left him for dead on that occasion, did Tommy Semi. Joey Franich gets that one ahead of the dangerous Joe Guest. Joe Guest on the score sheet last Friday night from the spot. Got a problem here for Cam McGilp, who we mentioned. He's been a man who's suffered a few injury concerns in recent weeks. Missed out last week. He's down again. And if he is playing not at 100%, he's certainly playing very well despite that, because you wouldn't know it the way he's been performing out there. It looks like we're going to see Noah Holmes, the former Western United NPL player, getting a chance to come into central midfield here.
Yeah, I saw Noah play a few times last year in NPL2, and he's a very, very good football player. I know that Western United were looking at him, putting him through a pro contract. Maybe they're using Oakleigh Cannons as a bit more experience for him at this level, and maybe look at him down the lines. But a very, very good football player. Just sits in there as a 6, dictates play, very good on the ball. It's a good addition for Chris Taylor's side this year.
He's still only 21 years of age, so we may see him at A-League level again. As this ball's fired in towards the back post area, Oldfield should get there. Again, putting his name on that one. We heard the call from up here in the commentary position. He took a screamer over his opponent to claim that one. So over an hour gone here at Knight Stadium, and it was the first half that was really dominated by the Oakleigh Cannons. In the second half, it's been much more interesting, much more even. And the Knights have had a few good looks, and well, you can arguably say they've had the better of the second half so far. In the 18, 19 minutes that we played since the interval. It's headed by Guest, flicked on. Semi, he was almost on all fours there as he tried to control that one. He's going to run through to Carrigan, who's got space and time here. So seems like the Cannons are just sitting back a little bit more and allowing the Knights to come at them. Allowing the Knights to have a little bit more possession and try and break them down.
Yeah, you can see what's happening now. The Knights and Oakleigh Cannons are just having that. They've almost gone into a 2 up top. When Knights have the ball and trying to get Knights to force it a little bit longer now, rather than trying to play through the middle of the park.
Here's Ben Carrigan, who's been working further and further forward, sort of stepping out of that central defensive role when they're in possession at times. Trying to create some overloads further up the field, perhaps. Here's Saki. A little turn, and he's left Sinclair behind. The Deuce getting back to provide the defensive reinforcements. Still he goes, Saki. Full of running. He needs to find a teammate.
No support though, Steve. No support whatsoever to help him run into a...
Oh, it's a 3v2 here at the moment. Salmon, he's got a Deuce on the left. Kasumovic on the right. Plays it in for Kasumovic, and it just goes up and over. Good bit of defending in the end because it's gone behind for the corner kick.
Yeah, good bit of defending that. Great play. Again, fantastic transition, but just going back to Saki here. Some fantastic football in, but just no support. No support for him. And then by the time it did come, it was intercepted. And then Joe Guest breaks away and gets it into a Deuce and puts a great ball into the box, but fantastic defending. I think Carrigan, I think.
Good work from Carrigan. I think Saki changed direction 3 times there, but he still couldn't find a player in red to pass to. As the ball comes in from Guest, a dangerous one, but it's dealt with well by the Knights' defence in the first phase. But Guest is going to get another chance to get the cross in here, perhaps. Right on the chalk of the byline. Oh, it's a silky first touch from Salmon. How he does that, I do not know. Here's Holmes with his first involvement. Kubalay now looking to play the ball into the box. He's forced to go back to Wellsmore, who's under pressure from Albano, giving chase. Ball over the top by Brodie Boyce. Queenslander couldn't find anyone in a navy shirt. Salmon picks up this ball. The header from Aliopolis. He's onside here. Flag stays down for Alex Salmon. Holmes, a little bit too far out to pull the trigger. Salmon on the edge of the area. Looking to wind up here. Gets around Carrigan. Tight angle. Back post. A Deuce. Side netting. Ivan Franic was caught sort of in no man's land between the cross and the player running on the end of it. The Deuce couldn't get his shot on target.
Yeah, some good football again from Oakleigh Cannons. Just being very patient, working into the right areas. Good little ball into the box, but just couldn't get over it and direct the ball, as you said. Like some of the Oakleigh Cannons subs warming up. Will we see another change perhaps from Chris Taylor in the coming minutes as you see Aliopolis giving chase. Sends it downfield. Flicked on well by Holmes, who found a Deuce, and Holmes sends it down the line, but only as far as Joey Franic. Morton's ball forward. Finds Hoare, and he's been fouled there by Holmes. No question there. Holmes protests his innocence. That's an easy decision for Michael Mamas, who's doing an excellent job controlling this one tonight. This standalone Friday night football fixture. We've got a big round of matches coming up in the NPL competition. 6 games tomorrow afternoon or evening. Sinclair's ball is straight to Hoare though. Oh, and Ivan Franic has flagged for offside. Ivan Franic taking up those advanced positions, trying to cause the overload down that right-hand side. Just arguing with the They are there. There's no way he's offside, but he's playing a lot further up the field. This second half is Ivan Franic.
And I think hats off to Ben Suri. He's changed the game in the second half, trying to ask some questions of this Cannons defence, but just changing the balance of play. And they've really had the upper hand for large periods of this second 45, which wasn't something we saw coming in the first 45. Here's Salmon. Kasumovic floating into the back post. Guest is getting on the end of it almost. Adus giving chase as well. In the end, the pitch was a little bit too short for those Cannons boys chasing down that cross from Kasumovic. So almost 70 minutes on the clock here at Knight Stadium. Still only one goal separating these two sides. As I mentioned last season in the league, both meetings ended in draws, 2-2 and 1-1. I was about to say we can't go around the grounds tonight, Craig, because this is a standalone game, but you found some scores from other parts of Melbourne that we can go through tonight. Preston Lions looking good against Werribee City, 2-0 at the moment. Saki's ball in. It's Hoare, and now Ivan Franic. Oakleigh being made to work for this one. Into a really absorbing contest this second half.
Yeah, and as I said, Steve, it's the longer it stays at 1-0, the more confident that Knights will be and that they can get this equaliser. They're certainly having a good go this second half, that's for sure.
Here's Kingsley Sinclair bringing this one down calmly, but he's played it straight against Mitch Hoare, away by Holmes. Franic almost lost it in the lights, but he recovered and won the header after it bounced, and Sewell, pressure from Kasumovic, but he's able to come away with space and time here. Semi's ahead of him. And Semi's the latest Knights player to be flagged for offside, so, well, a string of offsides in this second 45 that are killing the Knights at the moment. They're getting players forward, which they weren't in the first half, but they're continually getting flagged for offside. So, 3 games in action currently in the VPL 1 at the moment, Craig, and it looks like Preston are doing the best out of the 6 teams in action so far.
Yeah, it looks like 2-0 up in first 5 minutes there at CB Smith. That's not CB Smith, sorry, the Janice Steele Stadium there. Northcote 0-0 with Brunswick, and Bentley Greens 0-0 with Melbourne City. Very quiet night of football on a Friday evening, isn't it?
It is. Well, if you're out at a loss, there is plenty of football coming up. As we said, tomorrow, 6 games. A bunch of 3 o'clock kickoffs, so if you're a fan of that traditional kickoff time, we've got that in spades for you tomorrow on the NPL Victoria live streams as the Knights come surging forward again. As Bramwell brought to ground by a strong challenge. Play on is the call. Kasumovic, that's a good ball from him. Guest is inside. Deuce has drifted inboard, so there was no one out wide on the left as an option. Kasumovic. Salmon. Switching the play to Guest. And appeals for a handball again. Michael Mama says no case to answer for the Knights' defence. Play on was the call. Intensity's gone right up in this second half. Franic shielding that ball against Eliopoulos, who's stepped forward from his central defensive position. Guest's ball. Can Salmon keep this one in? It asked a bit of him. He does keep it in, but in the process, he's only succeeded in giving it away to the Knights, who can come away with the ball. Eliopoulos, the goal scorer, the only goal scorer out there, the central defender for the Cannons. Here's Wellsmore. Kasumovic throwing the step overs at Sewell. Oh, it's crafty by Holmes. Good poise from the youngster. Kubalay, now Holmes, the two number 6s combining. Oakleigh Cannons getting a stranglehold of things now in the last couple of minutes. And here come the Knights. Albano, good play, flicked it around Kubalay. He's got Bramwell to his right. Good challenge, Kubalay. Got back and recovered for being beaten further up the park. And Guest has been fouled here by Tommy Semi. You can see that one from the far side of the pitch here. And we're going to see another change for the cannon's about to take place, I fancy, Craig.
Looks that way. It's a dust Munib, a dust that's going to come off. And coming on is number 7, Pierce Waring, I think.
Yeah, so a chance for Pierce Waring, as we mentioned, one of the prolific goal scorers in NPL Victoria last season, 13 goals from 20 appearances at Green Gully Reserve. To bide his time on the bench. Ball into the back post. And he's just about on the end of that one, Waring, the substitute. And the Knights have got to clear this one away.
I was just going to say that would have been substitution, that wouldn't it? For a very first touch of the ball, the first minute of him coming on, but just didn't manage to get enough on it to cross the line.
Might be a problem here for Chris Oldfield, you fancy? He just copped one in the teeth, perhaps.
Yeah, winded maybe.
Just catch that one on our replay screen. Copped a flick from an Alex Salmon knee or something on the way through there. Perhaps he's back up and running now, though. He's made of tough stuff. As the corner comes in from Guest. And again, the Knights deal with that one well. Guest is looking to run it Bramwell. Kublai picking up the loose ball, but Albano, like a bulldog, stealing that one and taking off down the field, looking for Sammy. Just sort of awkwardly collided with his opponent, and he's now he's gone to ground. Sammy Mitchell wants to keep going and bringing the ball forward. Sammy's still down in back play. Sewell. The Knights, they've had the momentum, but they've just been pegged back in the last 5 minutes or so. They need to get back on top quickly because they are running out of time in this one. Less than 15 minutes to go of regular time, plus stoppages remain for them to peg back the Cannons, who opened the scoring in the first half through Jacob Aliopoulos. That Aliopoulos goal coming on 16 minutes. It's volleyed forward by Sewell. Aliopoulos smacks it forward again, so it's not something to hang in the art gallery, what we're seeing out there just at the moment.
Yeah, look, and they'll be still really disappointed at conceding that goal in the way that they conceded the goal, Steve. Early doors, as I said, 16 minutes, free header in the box. But since then, Oakleigh Cannons have had a lot of the play, but haven't created. They had a few shots, but haven't really created clear-cut opportunities. So if it had been a different story in that 16 minute, it might have been a 0-0 game and somebody looking for that winner. So. Small margins, eh?
Well, it's the Knights now looking for an equaliser as Saki wins the corner against Kingsley Sinclair. Played it against the shins of the New Zealander and out of play. Now taken quickly the short corner. Here's Saki. He's going to float it in, but it's easily repelled by Wellsmore. Saki again switching the play over that far side. Picks out Corey Sewell. Oakleigh with enough players back to deal with the danger. And here they come on the break. We've got a 2v2 here, but it's a foul by Salmon. And that will relieve the pressure on the Knights. Defence that was looking a little bit under the pump there. Ben Carrigan, who's performed pretty well tonight, helped back up to his feet. Another change about to come up. It looks like Kasumovic's night will be done. He won't get the chance for any late heroics here.
Yeah, a little change of formation now. Connor Hampson coming on, maybe just to tighten it up a little bit in there.
Connor Hampson, you'd imagine, would slot into left back, but it looks like Kingsley Sinclair will remain at left back, and Hampson will get to play in a more advanced role. So opportunity for the Ben Chilwell lookalike to try and get forward and get his name on the score sheet, perhaps, which he did many times last season as well, while playing from his defensive position. 7 goals last season from 28 appearances with the Cannons, so not bad going for a guy that plays at left back. Here's Saki, inside to Mitch Hoare, all the way back to Carrigan. Plenty of bodies behind the ball in navy blue. Chance for Semi. Still he goes, Tommy Semi. Ivan Franic is going to be flagged for offside yet again. It's disappointing for the Knights fans over in the Monk Paducah stand.
But again, some good play there from Tommy Semi. Got the ball. That's the last thing you want is Tommy Semi running at you, with pace. But a little bit of composure shown there as well, knocking the ball out to Ivan Franic, who was yet again, as you say, in an offside position, further up the park. Got a really interesting 10, 11 minutes of normal play left now, and can Knights just find something in that final third that's going to set up a grandstand finish here?
The Cannons looking to kill the game off, but the Knights winning possession back. Albano. This is Corey Sewell dropping into a more central position from left back, as we've seen him do so many times last season. Hampson won't be able to keep that one in, and Franic will pick up the ball off, not the ball boy, but the security staff member there, and take the throw. The Knights are going to try and switch the play here from right to left. Fancy getting Tommy Semi involved more and more. He's looked a lot better as the game's gone on. I don't know what was said to him at half-time, but he's really pulled his socks up in the second 45. Here's Hoare. Combination here with Saki. Cut out by Holmes. Salmon dropping deep to pick up the ball again. Kublai is going to go direct here, but too direct all the way through to Oldfield. It's been a long time since the Knights have claimed a victory in this fixture against the Oakleigh Cannons. The last one of those was in February 2019, and Hamish Watson scored a double. They could use someone like a Hamish Watson out there tonight, you fancy?
I wonder if Ben Surrey would look to bring Saki inside in the last 10 minutes or so, and put him in that number 10 position and just try create something, because he's got some fantastic feet, some trickery. Maybe he can just open something up in that 10 role and move Albano back out to his natural wide position.
Yeah, I think that's something we'd like to see. At the moment, Saki with the Trevella cross, playing it in, but it was repelled again by that Cannons defence. He's certainly toiled for a long time, the left footer down the right-hand side. Maybe a change in function could be just what the doctor ordered for the Knights, who need to find a goal from somewhere. As we mentioned, plenty of action coming up tomorrow at 3 p.m. Avondale hosting Green Gully at Avenger Park. Moreland City hosting Altona Magic at CB Smith. Dandenong Thunder, the earlier kickoff time for them at least, of 3 p.m. as well. Hosting St Albans, who looks quite good under their acting coach Paul Donnelly last week. Almost getting a result against the Cannons, but maybe the Cannons certainly didn't expect to have such a difficult game.
Yeah, some big games there, and you've got Manningham against Dandy City as well, Steve. So, as I said earlier on in the commentary, it's a big game for Knights this, because those teams below just hold off there. Well, Joe Guest crosses this one.
Good ball in by Guest, looking Salmon, who timed his run well at the top of the box, but it was taken off his toes by that Knights defence, and Tommy is surging forward. Bramwell's going to just about get to this one, but well out by Feely, and he picked out Kublai. Hampson, Guest. Cannons with all the answers at the moment. It was the ball through aim for Salmon, who gives the thumbs up, the endorsement, but it was well picked off by Franic. Here's Mitchell with a little turn of pace, goes past Holmes and had his shirt pulled, and it's a couple of fouls that Holmes has given away, and you wonder if the card might even come out here for the youngster. Push and shove ensuing here, and I'm not sure what this is all about. Hampson's down on the floor. Saki's asking for a drink from the ball kid on this near side. Certainly covered some territory and done a lot of high intensity sprints, has Saif Saki. And, well, Hampson, who's only been out on the field for about 10 minutes, has copped a knock, and he's not looking too pleased with it either on the around the left ankle. Catch that one in our replay.
Mitchell's got a yellow card for that tackle.
Everything being sorted out here by Michael Mamus. Mitchell made the run around Holmes, collided with Hampson.
Yeah, collided, but there was definitely yellow card, but the nonsense after there's no need for that. It was a free kick. Get on with it.
Hampson's still down. He's not happy with the contact that he received, and the trainer's out in the field now for Connor Hampson.
Just going back to the games tomorrow, Steve, as we said, just in the games just below Knights, who sit in 8th place. We've got Moreland, City and Altona Magic, Dandy Thunder and St Albans, and Manningham and Dandy City. You know, if the results fall the way of the sides playing tomorrow, you know, Melbourne Knights could find themselves as low as 12th.
And you look ahead for the Knights as well. They've got next Friday night they'll be away at George Andrews against Dandenong Thunder, followed by on Friday week they'll be back here against Green Gully, and then a tricky one as we've played everyone once. They'll be back to the start again, and we'll be playing South Melbourne, so the original rivalry will be taking place in round 14 back here. So a couple of fixtures where there may be a chance to pick up some points, and then maybe a harder one against the league leaders in 3 weeks' time.
There's going to be a yellow card here for Joe Guest. Michael Manis asked him 3 times to get back and eventually pulled out a yellow card.
Michael Manis running out of patience with Joe Guest. Here's Semi getting on the ball again. He's forced to go back with Oakleigh getting plenty of players back, but Bramwell's just about going to get there, well away by Feely. Had to be on his toes there, and he was. Nick Feely closing in on 100 games in NPL Victoria. She should just about reach that this season. Here's Saki. Front inch is the option, providing the support.
Yeah, just looking at that yellow card there from Joe Guest, that's his 5th yellow card of the season. And maybe that was... I'm not saying it was, but maybe that's a ploy because they play home to Moreland City next week. So I'm not going to say that it was, but if it is, well played, Joe Guest.
And that fixture taking place on the Monday night of next weekend. So Monday night football from Jack Edwards for you. Something a little bit different. Spreading out the fixtures. A lot of Friday and Saturday fixtures lately, and people cursing the lack of Sunday football, which is fair enough. Certainly felt that way myself a few times of late as well. The big one coming up, we must mention as well that the local derby between Port Melbourne and South Melbourne, that one taking place down at Port Melbourne at 5 o'clock. But then 7 o'clock, this is the game of the round for me, Hume City against Heidelberg United at 7 o'clock from Hume City Stadium. Can't wait for that one, Craig. That has to be the game of the round, you would say.
Yeah, definitely. As I said to you in off-air earlier, Steve, Hume City have been my... I just hold off there a second.
Guest is getting forward. Hampton's made a full recovery from that knock, and he's throwing the step-overs. Good save, Oldfield. Yet another moment where Oldfield's had to come and parry away a fierce shot. Hampton back in possession. Holmes had to reach for that one. Wins the free kick as well. He was impeded from behind, was Noah Holmes, and it's a really good position, this free kick opportunity. Perhaps for the right-footed option rather than Joe Guest, but I fancy Joe Guest will still be interested.
Yeah, there's a good chance. Might be the wrong side for him, but I think he'll certainly have a go. I think this might go in the direction of Alex Salmon, though, from a betting man, which I'm not.
We've also had an extra change with, I must say, we noted Mr. calling the sub of John Mabok, who's out there now. There's one goal to his name this season as well, John Mabok, who's taking up that role that Saki was playing on the right wing.
He's going to have a go at this, you know. No, he's not.
In by Guest. A little bit of deception there. He had us thinking he was going to shoot.
The way he was set up, it looked like he was going to go for this near corner, but he didn't.
Trying to confuse Oldfield as well. Throw by Sinclair. Salmon was the target. He's a little bit flat-footed. Albano looking to get around Emlyn Wellsmore, and he wins the free kick, and we've already hit the 90-minute mark. 4 minutes to be added on. 4 minutes remain for the Knights to try and pull this one out of the fire. Feel he might have to use his head for the second time in this second half, and he does it to good effect. Franich rose higher there. Saki still going, still chasing everything up and down this right wing for the Knights. Oldfield's going to send this one as far forward as he can. It's time running out for the Knights now. Kubelay's header. Salmon giving chase. Franich gets there first. Oh, and Joey's giving possession back. And a chance for Salmon to kill the game off here. Gets to the byline and plays it across. Oh, and he couldn't find a player in Navy in the middle. It's Hall giving chase. It was Pierce Waring who was the target, but he just couldn't quite put it to his advantage. Here's Mabok, another player with a full head of steam, but
fantastic defending.
Ran straight into his opponent. Sinclair, the left back, is run right over to the right-hand side of the pitch here. Here's Wellsmore. Semi back doing the defensive duty. Certainly advantage Oakleigh Cannons at the moment. They're almost there. Looking for their 6th win of the season. They were unbeaten in the first 8 weeks before they slipped up at home to Avondale, if you can call that slipping up. Back on the winners list last week against St Albans in a match that was closer than everyone expected.
Yeah, this result will take them up into 2nd place, obviously with games to be played tomorrow.
So it's all pretty close, coming down to goal difference. Hume City and Heidelberg United and Oakleigh Cannons all be on about the same points, I think, after this result. We'll see those two teams playing each other, as we mentioned, tomorrow night. Eliopoulos has received some heavy contact here, and he's gone down. We might have the trainer called out here again, you fancy? So we could have time added on to added time. Final moments of this one. And at the moment, the Knights are looking at second consecutive week where they've not managed to get themselves on the score sheet after a 1-0 loss at Paisley Park last week. Eliopoulos is back up on his feet. That's good to see. The Cannons are almost there. So that winless streak in this fixture, well, that's definitely going to continue, but is there time for the Knights to try and trouble Nick Feely in goal in the closing seconds of this one? They've gone close several times in this second half. Tommy Semi's really stepped up his game since the half-time interval.
This will actually be their third game on the bounce. They've lost 1-0, Steve. So, you know, they're obviously in games, just can't get that goal in that final third, can they? And that's obviously their downfall, because they've been pretty solid at the back, apart from the goal, but just lacking in that final third.
think if they can keep playing in the manner that they played this second 45, certain to pick up some more points as the season goes on. But they're not going to pick up any points tonight, as that's the end of this one. Oakleigh Cannons come to Melbourne's West and take the 3 points. Back to Jack Edwards. It was a convincing performance in the first half. The second half wasn't so easy. The Knights came hard at the Cannons, but the Cannons held off, and they deserve the 3 points at the end of the 90. The goal from Jacob Aliopoulos on 16 minutes separates them from the set-piece opportunity from Joe Guest, floated into the box and nodded home by Aliopoulos without a lot of defensive pressure on the young defender, putting it past Chris Oldfield. That was the moment that decided the 3 points. Oakleigh Cannons 1-0 winners on the night. Craig, how do we sum up that one and look ahead to the coming weeks for these two teams?
Yeah, look, I think Oakleigh Cannons certainly started the best when we're on the front foot. Showed a lot of opportunities. 21 shots on target, or 21 shots compared to 5 for Melbourne Knights, which tells you the story of the last 3 games where they're not scoring goals, but defended resolutely when they needed to. In that certainly in the second half, Oakleigh Cannons were different class in stages of the game, and Melbourne Knights got some work to do. They, as I said, they could be as low as 12th after tomorrow's games. But look, Oakleigh Cannons keep going. We know they're going to get stronger and stronger as the season goes on. They're back into the top 2 as we speak tonight, and I'm sure over the next couple of weeks we'll start getting some players back. Stefan Valentine will be back in a few weeks' time, and then we'll see Oakleigh Cannons putting the pressure on at the top of the league.
And they'll also be looking to have a cup run as well. As you mentioned, they got through in the Australia Cup round 5 on Monday night, so we'll see them lining up in round 6 of the Cup competition. You mentioned Joe Guest picking up his 5th yellow card. He'll be unavailable, so there'll be a chance for someone else to play in that 10 role against Moreland City when they're at home next weekend on the Monday night. Then they've got a mouth-watering contest the following week, Craig, a real game of the round, you fancy, against Hume City in round 13. Can't wait for that one before a trip to play on the synthetic at Petty's Reserve against Manningham United Blues. So a mixed bag of fixtures coming up for the Cannons, while the Knights, we mentioned Dandenong Thunder away and Green Gully at home the next 2. A chance for Ben Suri and the assistant coaches Craig Moore and co to try and get the Knights firing and hitting the scoreboard and getting some points. They're going to really need to get some points in those 2 fixtures, you fancy.
100%, Steve. I think they definitely need to, otherwise it's going to be a long second half of the season for them. Goals is their problem. They're not really creating any clear-cut over the next week or so.
Well, with that, it's time to wrap up and bid you good evening from Knight Stadium here in North Sunshine. From Craig Filer and myself, Steve Curtin. It's been a pleasure to work with you for the first time this evening, Craig. And also a pleasure to be working alongside Matteo for Sportscast Australia, giving you the best look at the Knight Stadium playing surface from the comfort of your own home or on the go, wherever you may be on this Friday night. We look forward to a bumper action of Saturday football in NPL Victoria on the live streams tomorrow. 6 games. Make sure you tune into those ones from 3 o'clock onwards. Check your local guides, but some great action coming up tomorrow to round out round 11 of the competition in NPL Victoria. But from myself, Steve Curtin, and Craig Filer, on behalf of the broadcast team from Knight Stadium, it's a very good evening to you, where the final score is Melbourne Knights 0, Oakleigh Cannons 1. Good evening.